Welcome to Kepa Live. With me today is the team from NIV. Chris Carnell, who is our National Manager, Advisor Distribution, David White is Head of Customer and Digital, and Ross Walker, a consultant to NIV. Chris, how are you?
Good, thank you, Jeff.
Fantastic. Chris, tell me what NIV stands for, and in particular, what part do advisors play for NIV?
Well, firstly, Jeff, thanks for having us along today. As you know, or you may know, November is the 5th anniversary of NIV in New Zealand. And during that time in New Zealand, we've had a very strong association with the Kepa membership and yourself in terms of taking our proposition through to market. And so for that, we thank you. NIV, what we stand for, we're very much all about the client. And what we want to have is simple, affordable solutions that clients can take out in conjunction with their advisors that have one key important ingredient, which is choice. We believe in choice for the client. We believe in choice for the advisor partner who's recommending our solutions in market. And certainly one of the things that we're very passionate about in NIV is the role that advisors play in taking our message to market. They play a very important role in their communities, getting people to be aware, if you like, of the need that they have for not only our insurances, health insurance, but also life risk insurance. And you know, our relationship with Fidelity, we think is central to that. So we've had a very successful distribution agreement with Fidelity over the 5 years we've been here. And that enables the Fidelity NIV BDM to take to their advisor channel partners a holistic set of solutions to fit the advice process that they now have. And so we're very proud of our association with Fidelity in that way.
Wow, 5 years. I can remember to this day when Rob Hennon arrived in New Zealand. They set up NIV in New Zealand. It's been a pretty fast 5 years, I must confess. So congratulations on that anniversary. So Chris, what successful new initiatives have you been working on with NIV recently?
So we've been doing a number of things in market. I think it's important to understand that everything that we do is to create or stimulate conversations that advisors can have with their clients around the need for private health insurance. And I guess I could talk about perhaps 3 initiatives today. One is the current campaign that we have in market for October to December, which is a premium holiday campaign. So advisors that put in place any of our solutions, whether it be Easy Health, Ultimate Health Max, their clients will have the 2nd month and the 14th month premium free. And again, that's just to effectively stimulate conversations that advisors can have with their clients. The second initiative is the roadshow that we just had in October, where we talked to advisors about building sustainable, resilient advice businesses using our recently introduced spread commercial model, 35-25. Now Ross is going to talk to you about that later on this interview, but we had a very good response to that as we went around the country, and that's another example, if you like, of us trying to do things that can help support advisors in their conversations with their clients.
So what are some of the other opportunities for advisors, and who are Orbit Protect clients?
Well, Jeff, that gets me onto the 3rd initiative that we've worked on in recent times, which is the launch of an NIV Orbit Protect relationship. NIV has had a gap in its product delivery in terms of recent migrants to New Zealand that might not, or that don't qualify for access to the public health system. And of course those people aren't eligible for NIV's full private health insurance products. So what the relationship with Orbit Protect does is it gives the ability for our advisor channel partners to put in place solutions for recent migrants and for international students, and in that area we're very big player, certainly in the Australian market for international students. But it gives our advisor channel partners the opportunity to put solutions in place for that market. And importantly, at a time when the client then becomes eligible for publicly funded health services, they can then put in place a full NIV private health insurance solution at that time.
Now that sounds really exciting. How does an advisor register to sell an Orbit Protect policy or product?
So in an effort to keep it as simple as we can for advisors, we've developed a landing page that an advisor would go to called www.nivorbitprotect.co.nz, and in that site, in that landing page, the advisor would enter their own information, the information about the client, name, date of birth, and when they then click through to the Orbit website, which is where the fulfilment process takes place, and it is an end-to-end complete fulfilment online policy issue environment. That way we can, or Orbit Protect can connect up the advisor to the client and make sure that the commission's payable.
Well, there's a lot of good things happening out there.
Yes, yeah, well, there is. And again, it's also that, as I say, client advisors can have conversations with their clients around private health insurance.
Thanks, Chris. David.
Hi, Jeff.
Now I understand that NIV launched the first NIB First Choice earlier this year. I guess you've been in charge of that product, or project. So what makes the NIB First Choice network different from other provider networks?
So, Jeff, we actually launched First Choice on the 1st September this year. And it was really a major project, a major initiative for NIB. I guess the key difference of our network compared to other networks is we provide our customers with choice. So our customers can continue to use a specialist of their choice. They're not prevented from going to whoever they feel comfortable with. I guess the only catch, if you want to call it, is some providers are actually out of network, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. And in those cases where it's an out-of-network specialist that a customer uses, there may be a gap payment involved for a claim. What we have found is there is a huge variability on what specialists charge us. For example, for a typical knee surgery, we found from our data on our claims that the average cost is about $20,000 to $24,000 for a knee surgery. We found that some specialists charge as much as $30,000, $35,000.
Wow.
So we don't think that's sustainable, and so we've tried to do something about it. Hence the First Choice. From an advisor's perspective, we know that it provides a sustainable solution. So if an advisor makes a recommendation to a customer for certain coverage, we know that premium increases also are, it's a major source of frustration. So another reason for putting in First Choice in place is it helps us manage premium increases in the future. On average, we've been increasing premiums on 8 to 10% per year. So First Choice, the intention is to reduce that materially, so that every year the health insurance becomes a lot more affordable. For providers themselves, there are no contracts involved, which is also a difference from our network. So we notify the providers as to what they need to do. They don't need to sign a contract. And then we put it in place. And so the providers it's a lot easier for them to maintain. As part of the launch as well, we have made available a provider portal, so that when you go to a specialist as a customer, you don't have to submit any claims forms or any paperwork. The health service provider can do that on your behalf, which makes it very easy. And then lastly, for GPs, because GP normally refers you to a specialist, we've made available a directory so that GPs and customers can go online and they can see which providers are actually registered as First Choice and not in their area, and who that, depending on what type of procedure you need done. So overall, it's been a big advantage for us. It's a big project, and it's been very well received so far.
Certainly is a huge project. So how much, or huge amount of work in setting up the First Choice network? What sort of feedback have you been having, and how have people responded to it?
Yeah. So to date, our customers and providers have responded very well, and I think certainly advisors as well have responded well. We've done a lot of work on roadshows around the country, explaining to advisors what First Choice is all about, and the feedback has been very positive from advisors. Similar for customers, it takes a lot of headache away from a customer. If you've got a procedure you need to undertake, you're worried about it anyway. So what we do is we give them a bit more peace of mind. They don't have to worry about the claim or having to submit claims forms, so that the feedback has been positive, that it takes all the worry away from submitting a claim. So that's been very positive. And for health service providers, I think they've obviously contacted us to see how they can come in network, those ones that are out. And as a result, over 95% of providers are actually in network. All hospitals, 100% of hospitals in the country are in network as well. So it's been a very successful launch, and we've had a very good take-up of our portal so far.
Thanks, David. Ross, welcome.
Thank you, Jeff.
Nice to see you again.
Jeff.
Ross, I understand that NIB and Fidelity Life have been travelling the country and talking to advisors about the new NIV Commission models. And Chris made mention that you'd sort of explain a little bit more about it for us. You were facilitating some of the seminars, and how have they been received? And you've had good positive feedback?
Absolutely, yeah, they've been very, very well received by advisors. I think it's one of those times where we had a strong message for advisors. It was still built around the theme of healthy conversations and healthy businesses, advisor businesses, so very much aligned to the client proposition, but from an advisor perspective. The whole focus really was to, if you like, take an over-the-horizon view of where advisor businesses might be going in the future. We tend to get a bit preoccupied with things like short-term regulatory change. As far as NIB and Fidelity Life are concerned, regulatory change is a given. It's not just this lot that are coming, it's the next lot and the next lot. And we were trying to focus the attention of advisors on building a business that could weather regulatory change, but more importantly, be prepared for some of the other changes which don't get so much noise, but are probably more influential. As an example, there's a lot of evidence already that people are living longer, and longer lives obviously mean longer client relationships. And when you start to think about it from that perspective, you also start to realize that sustaining and maintaining and reinforcing your relationship with clients actually is very, very important. They're a huge valuable asset, and an even more so with a longer lifespan, for example. And from another perspective, everybody's talking about technology and robo-advice and those things. The question we've got is, how do you actually increase your competitiveness with that as a new potential threat, weather it and move on and not be disrupted by things like regulation, robo-advice, all those sorts of things. So in some ways we looked at some of the things that advisors are familiar with, but from a new perspective. For example, we talked about how do you grow your business from a retention perspective rather than an acquisition perspective. Not to diminish the value of acquisition, but simply saying that, you know, keeping the clients you've got is probably worth more profit-wise and efficiency-wise than going out hunting every day. And of course, keeping clients, it's very important that you're providing a great service to those people. And the great news, I guess, also is that the machinery you need and the people you need to deliver great service are actually the same people and the same machinery, if you like, or the same infrastructure, as you'd need to be able to, say, answer a Section 25 request. You need great records, you need to be able to access them, you need to have people who work with you who can actually put out a good message to your current clients to make sure they're not going to get caught up by some competitor who hasn't perhaps got the sort of service quality that you've got. So we realised that this is sort of familiar territory to many advisors, and we weren't trying to sort of preach to the converted. What we were trying to do is actually re-emphasise some of the financial implications associated with a retention model. We're really aware that if you don't know if you've got a renewal income coming in, it's very hard to put money on the line and commit to fixed costs. And we know that regulation is going to mean more fixed costs, not less, more. So it's not a case of shall I, it's a case of how I'm going to make that work for my business as well as satisfy the regulator. So the themes are very much around, if you like, how does your commercial model provide the revenue and the profit to enable you to provide the service you want to provide. Now, different advisor businesses, there are lots of different advisor businesses. There's some on a high acquisition mode, for example, employing other new advisors. There are some who have got a big book of clients and are very focused around retaining and keeping those clients and maybe building on them as a referral network. But if you haven't got a renewal income, it's very hard to invest in the infrastructure you need to be able to provide that great service. So our focus was not actually on our new commissional model, which we see as an enabler of a spread commission approach or a higher renewal approach. The focus was very much on, for your business with your goals and where it is today and where you want it to be in the future, how's that commercial model enable you to do that? We're not against, by the way, an upfront model. This is the new commission model is a choice. It's a third choice. It's not taking away anything. And we're very much aware that, for example, for new advisors or advisor businesses with high acquisition costs, they need upfront revenue, so that's accepted. But we're also aware that for other advisors who are looking for a long-term certainty, just like clients are looking for certainty, they're looking for pathways to more sustainable income and making sure that the service that they can provide is sustainable and that clients keep coming back to them. So it was very much an advisor-focused story. We didn't talk product. We didn't talk about regulation, really. We weren't trying to crystal ball gaze. We were trying to help advisors ask themselves about positioning themselves and, I guess, building that infrastructure to make themselves competitive.
About future-proofing their business.
Absolutely. Future-proofing, to doing for themselves what they're talking about with their clients. It's very consistent with the overall client proposition that at NIB we have.
We've certainly had some good feedback. Have you had some good feedback with advisors in the marketplace?
Absolutely, absolutely, and it was very interesting that the discussions we had during the seminars just very much represented the nature of our industry. How there are different advisors with different goals, different business structures. Everyone is looking for sustainability and profitability and great service. We're trying to provide ways of achieving that. One of the things we've also done that's really important is that we've got obviously a theory and some views on this, and we've discussed those with advisors, but it's not just a theory. We've actually developed a really robust way for advisors with the Fidelity Life NIB BDMs to actually model their business and the growth that they're looking for, comparing different commission models, comparing different providers' commission models. So it provides a huge opportunity really to in a robust way assess the implications of decisions before actually putting them into practice. And I think with that, advisors can plan and prepare with some significant more confidence than they would have had previously.
And it's really good they've got choice too. I mean, like you say, it's not compulsory to go to a renewal commission model. They've got a choice. If they've got high acquisition costs within their business,
that's it.
They can choose to go down that track. So.
Yep.
Well, thanks, Ross. Well, team, you've been absolutely ballistic, flat out busy over the last few months, haven't you? And that's some fantastic news out there. Some of the feedback that we've had from some of our members has been really, really good. Chris, before we wrap up, is there any other final comments or anything else you'd like to share with the team today?
Thanks, Jeff. So I think we just need to remember why we do what we do. And it is all about the client. Everything that we do, everything our advisor partners do is all about putting in place solutions for clients that make a difference to their lives. And I thought it might be interesting for your membership just to know that, NIB every year we have about 130,000 transactions with clients who are in claim. I mean, that's significant. That means that the work that the advisors are doing in their communities is actually making a big difference to the lives of ordinary New Zealanders. So, that's what we're all about. We're very much about clients and what advisors can do to position the right solutions in place for clients so they get great outcomes when bad stuff happens to them, because it does happen. So, thanks for having us today.
130,000 claims.
130,000 claim events.
And this is your 5th anniversary. Just imagine when we're going to be in another 5 years' time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, once again, team, thanks so much. Also, thank you very, very much for your participation at Kepa Conference week before last. Fidelity and the NIB team had a stand down there, and it was just brilliant, the support we received from you. So thank you so much for everything you've done with us and with our members of Kepa.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome. That's it from us this month, folks. Let's look forward to seeing you next month, and bye for now.